The final property we will talk about now is opacity. Opacity controls how visible the layers are. Let's go in and zoom in maybe to the sun and the clouds here. So I'm going to hold down Alt and then scroll in to bring those closer to us, and spacebar to move around. If I go to one of these clouds and select it here, that will be highlighted here as well. On the keyboard, if you press the letter T for opacity, that's going to reveal opacity. And this one is different. This is not O, because O is used for something else. We'll talk about that later in the future movies. So the shortcut here is T. And this only gives you one property to tweak, and this is measured in %. And by default, the layers are going to be 100% unless they were different in Illustrator. And I'm going to bring this down by clicking and dragging this towards left. And you'll see this will make the layer semi-transparent, so I can see through that layer now into the sun. If I set this to 0% exactly, that will make the layer invisible altogether. If I turn this all the way up to 100%, that's going to make the layer fully opaque. So it's a simple one to use. You just click and drag this left and right, or you just click and type in a number. And now you know how the opacity works as well. We've now covered all 5 basic properties of the layers. Namely, they were position, scale, rotation, anchor point, and opacity. One quick tip here before we finalize the chapter, and that is if you want to memorize the shortcuts for these parameters, you can make up a word from those shortcuts and memorize them. For example, we know P is for position, A is for anchor point, R for rotation, T for opacity, and S for scale. That word there would be parts. So go ahead and make up any word you like. There's quite a few different options there with those letters, and memorize that word, and then you won't forget the shortcuts anymore.